All right, guys. The Iceman here on a Sunday afternoon. Football on right now. The Giants, I believe, won. Who cares? Their season was done. I think the Patriots and the Bills are on right now. Tonight, the big game. The Eagles and the Cowboys. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Just got done watching a video by Gemini888. Come work for the WWE, the land where your dreams come true. Really. This is a response video to this video by Gemini888, and he was going through the anthology book and he was reading off a bunch of names where all these guys that went to the WWE that ended up going nowhere. More importantly, though, look at all the big name guys from other promotions that were signed with the WWE that actually went nowhere. And even look at the guys that weren't in other promotions that came up through the system that went to the WWE. Everybody says, I want to go to the WWE. It's the biggest promotion out there. It's where you're going to make the most money. And that's the key word, where you're going to make the most money. Making the most money doesn't mean making you a superstar. That's for darn sure. That's what the WWE does. I will say this much. If Vince McMahon sees stars in other promotions, and he's worried about them going to a competitor, which he doesn't really have to worry about because there's really no other competitor right now to really go up against the WWE. We wouldn't be able to say this a few years back or so because I thought TNA was really up and coming and moving, but they've digressed a little bit. But anyway, to the point, if Vince figures he can get a star away from like TNA or Ring of Honor or whatever, or get a star from Ring of Honor, because he sees that star being somebody big, he'll take him, he'll sign him, he'll bring him to the WWE. But that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to use him, and we've seen him do this so many times in the past. Vince McMahon signed Alex Shelley, who originally was in TNA. Not all that long ago, guys. He was part of the Motor City Machine Guns with Chris Sabin. Where is he? We don't see him. That's one of the things. This guy doesn't need to be in NXT or anywhere else. He doesn't need to be in any developmental program. He's truly a star, but Vince don't use him. We've seen him do this with so many guys in the past. And right now with the roster that he has, sometimes you have to wonder, what's going on with the Dolph Zigglers of the world. Cody Rhodes was stale for so long. There's just been a lot of guys in the WWE that really, where do they go? Kofi Kingston, who to me is a phenomenal wrestler, but does he really get that major push? No. And with all that being said, there's a lot of guys in Ring of Honor right now that are waiting to become breakout stars. And I think the worst thing that could happen to them would be to sign a contract with the WWE, because I don't think the WWE would utilize them in any way whatsoever. I know Vince to be really, unless it's his talent that he brought up, a lot of times they don't get used, they don't get pushed, and they end up becoming nobodies. I mean, there are a few exceptions to the rule, though. Back in the late 90s, 2000, when Vince decided to get Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, there was Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko as well. Benoit and Jericho were two of the WCW stars that Vince did utilize. And of course, this Chris Jericho, he could have been something big in the WCW, but they were so focused on the NWO back in those days, they didn't give time to Chris Jericho. So I guess Vince saw, something in Jericho that he knew he could develop into something big, and he utilized it. And he is one of the few guys that Vince McMahon has really brought up and really has done something with. And granted, Chris Jericho has been a major major player in the WWE for the last 13 years. So, uh, but yeah, you know, anybody in wrestling that wants to become a wrestler, their eyes and their goals are on the WWE. But, if you move on up the ladder and say if you are wrestling in Ring of Honor or any other of the minor wrestling promotions, sometimes you better think hard before you leave this promotion. Maybe the pay isn't as good as you would get in the WWE, but it's almost like you know, someone being a freshman um, or going to high school who was a star in junior high or middle school at, say, football or basketball, and then you go to high school, you got to prove yourself all over again. And this is pretty much the same for any young wrestling star. When you sign up with the WWE, it doesn't mean that you're going to go there and you're going to make waves and you're going to make a very big impact, because it all depends on what the WWE is going to use you for, how they're going to use you. In a lot of cases, you don't get used, and that's the problem. And there's a lot of guys that probably should have been used. If you compare them to other superstars that really, I mean, there are a lot of guys there in the WWE. You say to yourself, why are they there? And if you are somebody from Ring of Honor that is a superstar like Adam Cole or whatever, and you get brought to the WWE, it's like, you know, a junior high or middle school guy going into a freshman at high school. You start all over, and it's like you have to reestablish your identity all over again. And it could take years, and the problem is you could be past your prime. It's unfortunate, but it is true to form, and it's happened so many times in the past. So this was a great video by GEMNI888. He brought up a very good point. I'm going to put the link to this video in the description box below. Uh, Please watch that video, because it brought up, uh, you know, something that I have thought about many times in the past and really haven't really talked about it too much, but it sort of makes sense to talk about it today because the subject is brought up. And yeah, like I said, you can be a superstar in a lower promotion, but once you sign that WWE contract, in all fairness, you're really a nobody unless Vince wants to make you somebody. This is the Iceman on a Sunday night. Peace out, everybody. Have a safe trip if you're going somewhere tomorrow. If not, because we got the new year coming, just please be safe. And the old saying is, don't drink and drive. Peace out, people.